From our Main Street newsroom, this is 2 News Live at 3:30.
Live at 3:30, thanks for joining us. Boy, that is a daunting look from downtown Salt Lake City heading due south. There are some significant weather concerns this afternoon. We will get to Mika Miyashima with the latest here in just about 30 seconds. Also, that storm warning that already impacted parts of southern Utah. Here's a live look for you right now in Hurricane. They are cleaning up. We will take a look closer at what happened here this morning and how they're cleaning up all that mud and debris here hours later. Also, earlier today, 2 firefighters who gave the ultimate sacrifice working the Wide Mouth 2 fire. There was a procession held for them from Taylorsville to Salt Lake City, a live look near the airport. We will speak with a firefighter from Unified Fire Authority coming up in just a few minutes. It is great to have you with us here on 2 News Live. This is right outside of our studio here downtown Salt Lake City on Main Street. There was just some hail coming down about 15-20 minutes ago. It got me in the back of the head and knocked some sense into me here for our Friday show at 3:30. Glad you are here with us. Mika Miyashima is here. Mika, there's a lot to look at right now here statewide, but specifically the Wasatch Front is getting it.
Exactly, and I'm sorry to hear about the hail hitting your head. Ouch. Yeah, we definitely are seeing it right now. We've got actually a flood advisory in effect for portions of Salt Lake City. So take a look at the radar right now. You can see it coming down. This is for central Salt Lake County in northern Utah until about 4:15. So Salt Lake City is really seeing heavy thunderstorms right now. This has produced about 1/2 inch to 1/4 inch of rain. Some of the locations that will experience flooding, that includes Salt Lake City, University of Utah, Sugar House. You can see on the map there, it's really coming down in Lehi as well, south of Tooele, West Jordan, seeing some pretty heavy showers right now. So again, this lasts until 4:15. We've also got a special weather statement in effect for portions of Salt Lake City. And this is kind of moving slowly, 10 miles per hour. And so, you know, like what we saw yesterday in Sandy, for instance, that was moving about 50 miles per hour. This storm system is moving much slower and producing a lot of rain and a lot of hail like we saw. So just a heads up for that. Flooding could be a problem for today, so you want to be aware of that.
So what are you looking at here as your next weather maker?
Well, you know what? We are looking at our drying out, which is kind of nice. So if you've got weekend plans, that's good news. You know, more active weather for today, but for tomorrow, we're drying out, and our temperatures are slowly going to start to go up. So it's been kind of nice, the cooler temperatures along with this rain. For tomorrow, we're looking at our temperatures in the 80s, same for Sunday, and then by Monday, we hit 90s, and it really becomes quite sunny, a lot drier out there, so good if you want to head outdoors.
Before we go, Sandy was the spot last night. Right. It was dangerous. I mean, there were cars driving through very deep water.
Yep.
Do we have that potential here and maybe in some of the other localized areas this afternoon, tonight? Definitely
potential. You know, the rain, the hardest hit areas, it's moving up north like we saw, and we know St. George got hit earlier today. But like I mentioned, this storm is moving very slowly and it's dumping a lot of rain. So there's definitely potential for flooding in central and northern Utah, and we're going to keep a close eye on that as we head throughout the evening and this afternoon.
Thank you very much. Northern Utah getting it, southern Utah got it. And this morning was difficult for a lot of folks. Springdale, Hurricane, those areas saw some significant flooding, some debris flows, and all of the above. And that water was just coming out of some of those dry wash areas so quickly. Samantha Hoffman is live, and it's a hurricane for us this afternoon here. So, Sam, we saw the cleanup just a few minutes ago. How much work have they been putting into the last 4 or 5 hours since this water and debris really rolled through town here?
Yeah, you can really see from this scene behind me, everyone on deck here, community members as well as the city, working hard to finish and try and clear out all this mud as fast as they can, because I just spoke with a police officer and he said that this mud has clogged up the drain. So if there's more rain, we could see even more severe flooding. So again, a really rush here, all hands on deck to clean it up. I'm going to step out here, give you a better close on what's going on. I just spoke with some kids and they told me that the water was about a foot deep over by some of the townhomes. Right now I'm at 850 West, 180 South, and this is also near the Pecan townhomes. Again, you can see Hurricane City crews out. No one is allowed in this area. The police are actually blockading it. They're trying to keep anyone out unless you are a homeowner. Again, they said they're trying to prepare for even more rain that could be coming. They are handing out sandbags at the police station, trying to protect any homes from anything more that could come. But again, lots of people helping out here. Another area that the police tell me is affected is 100 1040 West, also impacted right off of 400 South. Also, this live shot right now will show you those townhomes that people are starting to get to, again, about knee-foot deep over there. Lots of people shoveling out this mud, trying to clear it. I just actually came from over near Zion National Park, Springdale area as well. They also had some flash flooding, but not nearly as severe. Their roads have pretty much cleared up now on SR9, allowing easy pass through. But these residential areas in Hurricane, they're really going to be on this for the rest of the day. Now live in Hurricane, Samantha Hoffman, KUTV News.
Sam, before you go, 20 seconds here. Were folks in Hurricane expecting this? Were they ready for this?
You know, I've spoke with these towns throughout southern Utah, and they say they have had a great job from a lot of their public works department trying to clear debris so that there aren't any severe flooding. But people tell me that it was just rain after rain, and eventually there's really nothing what they could do. Also, responders tell me it really depends on where the rain hits. So they might have one area that's completely prepared for any flooding, but if it hits in the wrong spot that they did not prepare for, then you can see some of the damage like you see here.
Samantha Hoffman live for us in southern Utah tonight. Sam, we will see you coming up on some of our newscasts here in just a little bit. Also earlier today in the Salt Lake Valley, somber, emotional. It was a tough day for the fire service community here. Statewide, also members of law enforcement, as they held a procession for two fallen firefighters who gave the ultimate sacrifice while working the Widemouth 2 fire 1 week ago today. It was Chris Anderson, Miles Elliott. They were both piloting a Sikorsky Sky Crane helicopter that went down, crashed. This was on the southern end of that fire, and both of them did not make it. Today, they transported those two bodies from Taylorsville to Salt Lake City International Airport to be flown back to their families. I spoke to a firefighter paramedic with Unified Fire Authority about what this means to come together to support families, especially those that are not in Utah when something like this happens.
It's heavy. Like, we've lost so many people this year. I mean, a lot of people have lost a lot, whether it's lives or homes or recreational areas, but it's also a stark reminder that it could happen to any one of us, right? And that we really need to look out for each other while we're having such a difficult year. Just want to, on the behalf of everyone here in Utah, we'd like to extend our gratitude for allowing their loved ones to come and help us in our home, right? And it's an incredible tragedy, and I wish I could thank them in person, but we're really grateful and sorry for the loss.
Again, those two helicopter pilots, not based in Utah, but they were here working out of the Fillmore area, working out of Sevier County. So they were in the area for quite some time. We actually saw them on last Tuesday, not this past Tuesday, the Tuesday before that. We were watching them at work. Days later, the crash happened. A lot of our coverage right now is in our content center, including that interview that I had with Logan from UFA earlier today. Aubrey, what else do we have in terms of just our full-scale coverage as it pertains to the procession today?
Yeah, we have a lot of content up on the procession. Here is that interview that you just showed. You can find it on YouTube if you'd like to watch the full thing. But we also have this procession. This is the live look as the motorcycles come by. Here you can see this is from Taylorsville to Salt Lake today. And when they arrived in California for Miles Elliott, we have their arrival here in that solemn ceremony. So if you'd like to see any of the procession, it's up on our YouTube page.
It was emotional to watch there. I was over at the airport earlier today, and we saw the beginning, and then this is the end after that flight from Salt Lake City to California. Flooding was the big conversation yesterday. It is again today. Sandy really got it yesterday. And
yes.
This was something that was really concerning to watch. Cars drive through so much water.
It's really just remarkable to see. This is an amount of water that we typically get here along the Wasatch Front, and this was from last night. Now, we just heard from Sam. We know that we are having some more flooding. Here are some photos of that. This is the Hurricane, excuse me. I'm not from here. But you have the neighborhood. Here are some photos. Lots and lots of flooding. And so I would highly recommend staying up to date with us here on KUTV.com. We have push alerts going out whenever there is any new developments and warnings. And so I'd stay tuned there.
Hurricane-like water in Hurricane. I see what you did there. Thank you, Aubrey. You can
Yeah.
find all of that right now on our YouTube page, including, again, that long-form conversation with the firefighters, and also as we looked into some of that flooding here over the course of the last couple of days, and we will have a lot more for you as it continues here throughout the afternoon with heavy rain coming down in the Salt Lake area right now. Let's head to a very large national story that we have talked about in depth all across our platforms here. Luigi Mangione has pleaded guilty to federal stalking charges in the killing of United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson. You've likely heard all about this, but there are some new developments in this case. For that, we head to Lower Manhattan here on 2 News Live, where Kristen Thorne is kind enough to join us here with the very latest. But what does this guilty plea mean, Kristen, for this case specifically? What does it mean for Luigi's case?
Sure. Well, at the federal case, it means that it is now over. He will be sentenced December 18th. He's facing life in prison, but the government is recommending anywhere from 25 to 30 years. Ultimately, that decision is going to rest with the judge. She will make the decision about how much time she thinks Luigi should get. Now, he also has a state case here in New York. This happened in New York, and so the state has to prosecute him as well. And he's facing quite a number of counts there. One of those, first-degree murder. So it's going to be interesting to see. There's a double jeopardy situation code here in New York. You can't do that. And so he's pled guilty to these stalking charges at the federal level. So some of the state charges may kind of get thrown out because of that, but that first-degree murder charge is going to stick. And, you know, it'll be interesting to see if the state decides to pursue this. They may say, look, he's facing life in prison. We're going to let the feds do their thing. We'll know. He's supposed to go to trial in the state case September 8th.
Kristen Thorne reporting live for us here with the latest on this very high-profile case nationwide here that's gotten a lot of attention. Kristen, thanks for joining us from Lower Manhattan this afternoon here in the Mountain Time Zone this evening, if you're back on the East Coast. Taking a look at some of the other big stories here we've got for you on 2 News Live at 3:30. The U.S. Food and Drug Administration says that large-scale outbreak involving a problem with Taylor Farms. It's something that we thought was related to there, and then they brought it back here. We didn't have the big scale here in Utah, but the FDA announced that more than 9,400 people in the U.S. have been infected by this. Nearly 400 people have been hospitalized since the FDA's last update on August 5th. Maine and Massachusetts have now been added to the list of the cases in different states. So this type of food poisoning was caused by a tiny parasite, and they've been trying to link it to exactly where this came out of. We have talked about this in depth. The U.S. military has lost more than a quarter of its Reaper drones in the war with Iran. That according to a new report that came out recently. At least 45 MQ-9 drones used for surveillance and targeted strikes have been lost. The drones can cost up to $50 million each. It is costly. The Air Force is now reportedly looking at how it can quickly rebuild its Reaper drone fleet. The Pentagon has denied previous reports that its weapons stockpiles are running low. President Donald Trump asking the Supreme Court to step into the legal fight over his planned White House ballroom here. The emergency request comes after lower courts ruled that Trump needs congressional approval for the $400 million project. An appeals court last week ordered work to stop on the above-ground portion of the ballroom, but allowed construction of the underground bunker to continue. The Trump administration arguing the East Wing construction is necessary for the president's safety, and that Congress has already authorized him to renovate and secure the White House. Back here live, downtown Salt Lake City, a woman in Clearfield reporting a robbery. On 2 News Listens, several others say the same thing happened to them. We will take a deep dive on this when we come back. Back here on 2 News Live, 2 News listens to you. We see what you're saying on social media, Reddit, Instagram, Facebook, you name it. And we try to get some context on a lot of these comments and questions that come into our newsroom. Some of you have been talking about on social media, what are the dangers when it comes to swimming in retention ponds? Like this comment from Gene, swimming in retention basins is what makes us born in the 80s so tough. While others are a little bit more concerned here about what some of these comments will have to say. Rainwater will make you melt and chlorine pools won't. That's what LeVar has to say. So detention ponds and retention areas, are they safe for swimming? I think it's tough to say. It depends on likely how you grew up, as we just heard from the 80s. But what you can't see in that water is concerning. and you don't know about those bacteria levels. So we were hoping to get some information about the contaminants that had to do with those, also the dangers, the depths, the current. Are they stagnant? Are they flowing? For example, that pond in Sugar House Park we talked about yesterday, should you be going to swim in there? Well, as we told you, there's not a whole lot of water in there right now. But for parents with kids, maybe the best idea here, suggesting otherwise, right? Go to the county pool or something like that, or your friend's house with a swimming pool, and have the adults watching. The retention ponds, you don't know really what's under that surface, kind of like if you're in that fast-moving current in a river, especially as we get into flooding time. So as we are able to get a little more context on this, we hope to share that with you. Let's head to Sevier County for our next conversation. We're hearing this one for you out of Salina. There was a post showing goat heads and puncture weeds throughout Salina City Park, including around the playground. Now, if you've ever ridden a bicycle on the Jordan River Trail, you know what it's like to get your tire popped from a goat head. So Salina, you're not alone. But residents there are questioning why the park has been allowed to get into this condition. Diana saying they stay alive or in the dirt for up to 7 years. The best way to get rid of them is to pull them as they're seeding out to spray them before they produce any thorns. So getting to the activity before the thorns produce. So we reached out to Salina City proper for a little bit more context on the park and the maintenance and who's responsible for this, to see how often the area is treated. We also asked the city what they are doing to remove these weeds, especially around the playground area. If you've got the kids running around, maybe they've got those Crocs on or sandals and whatnot, that would not feel good on your foot there. So as we hope to hear back from the folks in Salina, we'll bring that to you. Also heading out to Clearfield here. We talked about the unique robbery. A Clearfield resident says 2 men that were masked tried to grab her door handle while she was driving. Other people in the community say they've heard about recent vehicle robberies, break-in attempts. So we reached out to Clearfield Police to see if they're investigating similar incidents. Again, this coming to us on social media, and that's typically the first place we see a lot of these things. People throwing in their comments, but the best way to get a little bit more insight, if you have this, is to report that to local law enforcement so Clearfield Police can look into it here. Patricia saying, I keep pepper spray on me every time I go out in the dark. People think that's weird, but if it gives you a head start, hey, works for me. Aerosol boat horns will get some. So, I mean, the bear spray has been talked about. The pepper spray, I think whatever you feel like you need to secure yourself, as long as you disclose it to an officer if they pull you over for speeding. We're also asking whether police believe any of these reports could be connected here. As always, we are listening to you here on 2 News Live at 3:30, seeing what you're saying on social, trying to get a little more context, some answers to some of those questions, and take a deeper dive. We're back to wrap things up right after this.
From our Main Street newsroom, this is 2 News Live at 3:30.
Well, you wanted the rain. Some of you prayed for rain. That was the governor's request. And here it is. Look at this, downtown Salt Lake City. A mixture, if you will. We saw the hail coming down earlier. The meteorologists call it grapple, the technical term here. But it was raining pretty good in the Salt Lake Valley, as we saw last night. Here's a live look, Main Street right now. Be prepared if you're heading out. Obviously, stay tuned to the forecast here. Mika has you covered in just a few minutes on 2 News at 4 o'clock. Before we get there, though, our back-to-school supplies and snacks drive here at KUTV 2 News is underway today. We're collecting donations throughout the day to help make sure Utah teachers and students have the supplies they need for the school year. For that, we turn to Kristen Kenny, kind enough to join us live here on 2 News Live at 3:30. KK, you've got a whole lot of things behind you. Where are you right now, and where are you hoping people come to contribute to our back-to-school supplies and snacks drive?
Yeah, well, right now we are at the Smiths off 90th South and Redwood, and you can get your guys before 6:30. If you get down here, you can bring some items to donate, or like this backpack, right? Because it's back to school. Can you believe it, Brian? It's already back to school season. So you can bring some items with you, or you can do some shopping right here at Smiths, because here is the goal. By 6:30 tonight, take a look inside these bins. We want to fill these bins to the top with school supplies. This is all about helping kids in Utah schools, helping teachers with the supplies they need to kick off that school season. Now, I know, Brian, this is something that is relatable to you and I. I mean, my kid is still in daycare right now, but it's all about being excited for that school year and having the items that are crucial for at school and doing the homework after school. I mean, that's what matters here. We talk about snacks too. We can't leave off the snacks because did you know, this is crazy to me. I heard a stat that 100%, teachers support 100% of students' needs when it comes to snacks. They're supporting it. They're buying them the supplies. They're buying them the snacks. So come on down here and help relieve the teachers, help relieve the students. We're going to be here. Or if you can't come down here, you guys, you can go online at KUTV.com/donate. Brian?
All right, Kristen Kenny there with our back to school supplies and snacks drive. Get out there and take a selfie with KK too. She loves taking pictures, but she needs you to donate too. Those snacks, those supplies, we need all of that.
That I do.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you, Kristen. That'll do it for us here on 2 News Live on this Friday edition. 2 News at 4 starts right after this.